Hello again from Metro Manila, the Philippines, Southeastern Asia. It seems that the populist national conservative, largely anti-immigrant, strongly anti-Islam, and some would say far-right, um, True Finns party, which is the second largest party in the Finnish parliament and has already for a long time, since the April 2019 Finnish parliamentary elections led in the opinion polls, is having a serious case of internal disunity. The youth organization, whose vice chairman, Mr. Toni Jalonen, last Sunday declared himself a fascist, among other attributes, in a nationalist gathering in Estonia, Finland's southern neighbor, has refused to accept from the party chairperson, Mr. Jussi Halla-aho, or should I say Dr. Jussi Halla-aho, that would exclude from that organization the people who, or even the applicants who have links to or are members of organizations that can be considered far right and racist ones. So this will then determine whether this party is willing to distance itself clearly and unequivocally from the far right and racist elements, which are quite vocally present in also Finland's politics, and then accept at least temporarily a lower support, maybe even below 15%, or whether it's willing to ride to power, as seems likely in the 2023 Finnish parliamentary elections, partly on the votes of far rightists and racists. Let's look at the news item available on the English language website of the Finnish Public Broadcasting Corporation, the YLE. The youth organization were asked to ensure their members were also members of the Finns Party or the True Finns Party. The Finns Party's youth wing has rejected a proposal to restrict membership to people who also hold membership of the main party after a scandal in which the youth wing's leading lights expressed extremist views and one declared himself a fascist. Requiring membership of the Finns Party would allow the senior organization to discipline and expel members of the youth wing. The senior party now says it will establish a new youth wing to replace the old one. At a special meeting in Tampere, Western Finland's largest city and Finland's third largest city, by the way, the youth wing voted 56 to 45 against adopting the rule change. Approval of the rule change would have required a two-thirds majority. It's a shame for the youth wing and the party that it went like this, said the youth wing's chair, Mr. Asseri Kinnunen. The True Finns Party's youth organization was denied continued funding by the Finnish Education and Culture Ministry in 2019 because of extremist elements inside the organization, and those justifications or reasons have now been confirmed. There are extremists and racists in that organization, like in the True Finns Party in general, although most members and supporters are not to be classified either as extreme rightists or as racists. But populist parties like the True Finns Party, inevitably, whether they like it or not, whether they consciously try it or not, attract extremists, which is a pity. Now we'll consider with the board what to do. Dr. Jussi Halla-aho, the True Finns Party's leader since 2017, has expressed his annoyance at repeated outbursts from members of the party's youth wing in which they have openly espoused ethno-nationalist ideas. The latest incident came when Mr. Toni Jalonen, vice chair of the youth wing, declared himself a fascist in a speech at a meeting of the hard right groups called By Blue Awakening, the youth wing of Estonia's nationalist Estonian Conservative People's Party last Sunday. Mr. Jalonen's expenses for the Tallinn trip were paid for by the Finns Party's youth wing. He subsequently resigned his position as vice chair. The Finns Party said it would start disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Jalonen, but even if he is expelled, he would still be a member of the youth wing because it does not require members to also hold membership of the senior party. Saturday's meeting was called to close that loophole, and Halla-aho had said the party would consider whether to maintain its links with a youth wing if the rule change was not adopted. After the vote, party secretary Simo Grönroos, or Mr. Simo Grönroos, told the Finnish news agency STT that the party would establish a new youth organization. Of course, it is important that the party has its own youth organization, so yes, the party will found its own youth wing, said Mr. Grönroos. Senior positions in the youth wing had been won by individuals who call themselves ethno-nationalists, that is, people who explicitly define nationality by skin color and bloodlines, which of course is a racist position. In 2019, the youth wing had previously lost 115,000 euros of state funding for publishing a racist election advertisement before the May 2019 European Parliamentary elections, where there was a dark skin colored family, and the racist text read like this: "Vote for the true Finns so that Finland's future would not look like this." In other words, they were advocating the exclusion of people of color from Finland, which of course is a racist position. And given already Finland's northern and fairly isolated location in Northern Europe, and its fairly cold climate, despite the climate change, Finland would not be one of the top favorite destinations of the people of color anyway. For example, Britain and France, Germany and Spain would beat Finland by leaps and bounds, and Italy and so forth. This year it got 91,000 euros in funding from the Ministry of Culture. Well, okay, so it didn't lose all of its funding. Mr. Halla-aho has staunchly defended other Finns party members who have made questionable comments, including Mr. Ano Turtiainen from southeastern or eastern Finland, who called a Finnish police officer, constable, whose main duty it is to investigate those people who, like certain extremist true Finns, harass others online. A man who supposedly doesn't have his sexual organs or testicles. And correctly, the Finnish constable filed a criminal case against the member of parliament. This wasn't, by the way, the first time he had said or posted something outrageous. And then another member of the party from Western Finland, Mr. Juha Mäenpää, who in a speech in June 2019 compared Muslim immigrants, or at least certain ones of them, to invasive species, as if they were no longer human beings but plants. And he also, because already the 39 members of the True Finns party out of 200 in the parliament would be enough to block a move to prosecute Mr. Mäenpää. He likely won't be prosecuted. So let's see if the Finnish populist right-wingers are going to remain united or split up like it has been the case in so many other countries, especially after success. Because there are populists and there are populists. Populism is a very fluid political ideology, like, granted, many others.